welcome to Stitch with me. Today we're going to be working on the another one of our not so ugly Christmas sweater blocks. This one is the present one, or the gift one. I want to show you a few things about this quilt. Okay, I'm going to back this up just a little bit so that you can see. Okay, this is the sashing that I have picked for the quilt. So this is a diamond fabric. It comes, so this is the color that it comes in. It's very, well, it's teal, and it's almost, like I said, like a glow-in-the-dark yellowy color that's there, but it had the texture of exactly what I was looking for this quilt. And so I went ahead and over-dyed it with some green, so it comes across as a solid green. Let's switch our views here. Okay, see what a pretty green that is? And then these little blocks, obviously they're all on, let's bring out a couple of them. They're all on white. And let's unfold this guy just a little bit. Okay, that'll give us a rough idea. And we have these little blocks, and then to the side of each block is a piece of over-dyed, well, I'm good at making piles, that much we can tell, huh? Is a piece of over-dyed homespun. So let me see what I can lay out here. So it'll have the blocks. Let me grab one of the done blocks. Like this guy, the little snowman guy. And then it'll have a piece of one of these over-dyed homespuns, just a 2-inch strip to the side of it. So it's like that. So each one of these cute little ornaments will have a different, well, you'll get a bunch. I don't know how many you'll get. And if you're looking at that going, whoa, that is a bright color. So you should know that some of the blocks, let me grab one. Some of the blocks are also aqua. This one is a little penguin, and this one has a reindeer on it. And so they'll tie in with the aqua, and this is one of the brighter aquas. Most of them are a little more muted than that, or they'll have a red to the side of them. So you'll have a homespun, either a lime or an aqua or a red homespun next to the block, and then you'll have this lovely over-dyed. Now see, isn't that cute? I think they'll be wonderful. Okay, so let's put this back away and let's get to work on the block that we are doing for today. Let's put our finished ones in here. That little Ziploc bag is finished, people. Let's get our sashing out of the way. And yes, yours does come over-dyed, but it might be mottled over-dyed. Like if you look at this one right here, you see how it's a little bit darker kind of through this section? The mottled is a little hard to see, but it will be a little bit mottled. I wanted the whole thing to have the hand-dyed look to it. Okay, let's get our little gifts, and let's start on these guys. Now this time, this is a little bit, these guys are a little bit darker red, and I'm going to do the same thing, a back stitch around here, and then this will be back stitched with white right here, and I'll continue those back stitches right up the sides right here. And then for the ribbing on this one, I might switch to a different red that I have in a size 5. This is, you're looking at this ball and going, those aren't size 5s, those are size 8s. Wonderfil also makes their threads in a size 5 if I special order them. So I have a handful of my favorite colors that I've special ordered, and 628 red is one of my favorites. The reason I like it is because if you look, this is the red with Sue Spargo is more of an orangey red. It's more of that, remember, she likes the colors, she likes warm colors. I like cool colors, and so this is a warm red and this is a cool red. And so because this is a little bit darker here, I'm going to go ahead and use this one for this block. Okay, so let's pop that off and find our end here and get going on this guy. See how much of this we can get done. Okay, I don't want the French knots on it. I guess I'll take this one then. funny. I don't know if it's that funny. It's funny that I would call it funny, huh? I love to start on things like this. Sometimes it's a little bit hard for me to go, okay, am I ready? Do I look good enough that I could do this today? All right, let's zoom down in so that you can see things better. For example, my nice blue hands, because I was working on the dyeing of those homespuns today. I think what I'm going to do is start the ribbing and then just work my way around. So I'll either be doing ribbing or back stitches. So let's start up here. When I was choosing, well, whenever I choose what I want on my nails with my nail lady, she always says, what have you got going on this time? And so we chose these stars for patriotic 4th of July. But I said, it's got to be on something dark because I'm doing a lot of dyeing this week. And when I dye, I can wear gloves. It's not that. It's that oftentimes, even when I'm wearing gloves, it leaks. We get a hole. It just plain splashes up over my wrists or something like that. And it isn't, I scrub it off with soft scrub. I can get most of it off. But what I can't get is the inside of my nail right here gets dyed whatever color I was playing with. And so because of that, I try to use a darker color if I've got dyeing going on. I hope to get into a routine where I'm actually dyeing one day a week and an every other week thing, so that 1 week I'm dyeing wool and the next week I'm dyeing trims, yarns, ribbons, flat braid, and I can alternate back and forth between the two. So, but right now, my days are decided by whatever thing is the most pressing at the time. So since we're coming up on early July, I'm trying to get the Not So Ugly Christmas sweaters done, and that's because I just finished an order for gingerbread advent, and so I worked on that for the last couple of weeks for that large order. So everyone's getting ready for Christmas in July. And that's okay. Does it cool us off while we've got the heat going on? Actually, I have in my studio out here, the temperature in here is controlled by a mini split. It's far enough from the house furnaces that we decided that going a mini split just for these 2 rooms might be a smart idea. So keeps it warm in the winter and cool in the summer, and they actually do really well out here, so it's not terribly hot. All right, we are going at it. Okay, you can see that once you get into a routine doing these ribbing stitches, it's pretty straightforward. You have to be careful not to pull them too tight, but at the same time, because in this one, there's 3 layers. There's the back layer, which is the whole sweater when I put it down, and then there's a piece of the white, and it doesn't go all the way to the edge, but it does go up to the middle of here, and then the red collar piece on top. I didn't do the white all the way to the top because I didn't want to risk it showing up here. I kind of wanted to hide that. Okay, my thread is twisting. You see that? So I'm going to hold it up and let it dangle and untwist. Well, these are fun. This is what I'll be working on for the next few days. I have my grandkids coming, which might mean I disappear again. I actually, if you're like, why haven't you had a stitch with me for a little while? I recorded 2 of them that I don't know what I did wrong. It might have been like a call coming in on my phone, because I have a camera set up in front where you can see my face, and then I have my my phone set up here to do my hands, and I don't know. I'm not sure what happened, because I could have sworn I hit record, but it did not record either of them. Like, it didn't record the first one, and I was like, well, that was dumb. So I recorded a second one, and that one didn't record either. So I'm not sure. Yeah, not sure what happened, but I did not get. Okay, so here's the alternative. I told you that I like to drive when I'm doing a back stitch, I like to drive going from right to left like this. So the other option, if it turns out that it's backwards, is to flip your project upside down. Okay, we got a little bit more. We're a little twisted. We'll lift it up, but we probably could get 4 or 5 more stitches out of it. So yeah, I love the 5s. I have a few of my favorites. I have 2 reds that are my favorites, and I'm not that, I don't want them to make me a bunch of colors that I'm not going to use. So, and I don't want them to make me colors in size 5 that I can already get. So if it's similar to a Sue Spargo color, I don't have them do it. But to me, the difference in this red is substantial enough. I want it. And then I have, I think 4 greens and 2 reds right now. And then I just ordered, I think another set of, I have 2 browns. And those I ordered for a specific purpose, but I have a few extras. So I have a chocolate brown and a gingerbread brown that I use on We the People. And I have those in a 5. And then I just ordered like 4 more colors. I don't even remember what colors they are, but I just ordered probably a yellow and an orange and another brown. So they aren't exclusively my own. I pick a color that they already make. So they already have the recipe for that color. It's just a matter of them making up a bunch of balls that I'm willing to buy. Like I have 100 of these guys. I'm like, are you kidding? I think I use that on every project I do because it's my favorite red. I think it's called Shinto Gate. And there is, which I thought was interesting, and then there's a red dye that I like that is called Chinese red, and it's my favorite of the red dyes too. But even that one, I add a little bit of one called Cherry Bomb to it to make it just a little bit more my favorite color of red. So typically, like we kind of do things backwards in the designing world because Christmas in July is a thing, but Halloween in June is not a thing. We go ahead and work on Christmas in June so that we have it ready for Christmas in July. And then we go back and spend July working on Halloween things. And I'm super excited about the things that we have planned for Halloween. I can't wait to work on a few of those and show you. And the fall project, if you've watched a few of these, you might have seen a couple of the fall projects that we were working on. The fall project, I have it all stitched up. I just need to do the finish work on it. Because I'm getting ready for those fall things typically come out the 1st of August. Because August is still warm enough that you can work on them in August, and then they're ready for either September or October, whatever you start fall with. I start fall usually decorating for fall in September. Way back when I was a math teacher, there were some projects we were encouraged to have the kids do, and one of those was a project, I'm going to forget what it's called. The Lilliputians were little people, obviously, and there's a great big guy, and so the assignment for the kids, it's supposed to be combining their literature class and their math class. So the assignment is that they're supposed to use ratios and make something that exists in our world in the size it would be for the giant or the size it would be for the Lilliputians. And one of the projects that I got back was a pencil. It's like 6 feet tall or something like that. It was fabulous. I've used it ever since then. I mean, I taught, the last year that I taught high school was in 2000 and 2001. Did I teach? Yeah, I taught in 2000 and 2001, so long time ago. But I used that nice wood pencil as a decoration for back to school for lots and lots and lots of years until the weather took over and ended up ruining it. But they'd done a fine job. They had taken what was probably originally a square block of wood, long beam, and had it trimmed up so that it was, the shape of a pencil. And then they painted it, and they had sharpened the end of it with whatever. I mean, it looked like they'd stuck it in a big pencil sharpener. It was fabulous. I was like, woohoo! I will be keeping your homework. He didn't care. He didn't want it back. The only other thing I think I kept was someone made a little pack of bubble gum, or not bubble gum, but gum. It was like Wrigley's. It was the green one, in the Lilliputian size. So it was, about that big, little pack of gum. And they had cut a little piece of gum and wrapped it in the silver foil. And then they had taken the package and they had shrunk down the package and kind of made the little wrap for it. Those were my two favorite entries for the assignment. All right, there's not much left on this guy, but maybe enough to go down the other side, and then we'll start. Yeah, let's try going down this side. I want to drive this way. Okay. Yeah, that's short. We can just use those. Not that, obviously I can do the ribbing in between, but this will give me enough to get down to the ribbing spot, and then I can do the ribbing across here, and I'll look at it and see if I want to jump and keep doing ribbing. Question is, if we have red behind, can we see it? If I hold it up to the light, I can, but is that really what's going to happen with a quilt? If it's got, even if it's got a white, so let's look. If there's a white batting behind it, like this, can you see a red string through there? Oh, you can see a red string through there. Okay, you can barely see a red string through there, but I clearly won't be jumping. I'll be tying the knot. If that's the case, when you're working on something that you don't want the knot to be in the way, just bring it over here and tuck it behind a little bit of the fabric, and it will stay in that spot. I'm not too worried about it with this one. But on Most Wonderful Time, that's a quilt, and that one has much thinner fabric here. And it's an issue when you are doing there's a few of the things that you have to do in black, and those are the ones I'm most concerned about on that one. So you have to be sneaky on that one. Okay, there's our needle. Okay. Okay, this one we do have our white sandwiched in between the two. So we're going to want our ribbing ridge to cover that white as much as we can. I'm not that worried about the white. I don't think you'll see the red that's way underneath it. And it's the same color as the background, so I think it'll be fine. Okay. So let's see. If it takes us about 45 minutes to get around the outside done on one of these quilt blocks and the ribbing, then I think that the embellishment part will take us less than 45 minutes to finish the second part. So that's like an hour and a half-ish per block, or even if you went with a couple hours per block. That's a very doable quilt. This is not a quilt that will take you forever to do. As far as cutting the parts out, there's, similar pieces each time, but even that didn't take very long. So yeah, that doesn't include the cutting it out or the applique, but as far as the embellishment stitches go on this one, it's pretty quick. So when I take my son to his lacrosse tournament, well, I'm not taking him, but I am going with. My husband will get to do the driving. I'm actually going to package floss. I am teaching the girls' camp group from our church, from the girls from group at our church, at their girls' camp. They are working on learning a little bit of embroidery, so I'm teaching them how to do a handkerchief. And in order to do that, they need a little bit of floss, not a whole strand. And you know how it is. You're always trying to save money. So I am going to be winding. They just need white for it. So I'm going to be winding white floss onto little cardstock bobbins, 4 yards for each of them, on the way down. So I'll put some headphones in, and then I don't have to listen to teenage boy music or the men's conversation. I can just sit in my own little world in the back seat because I have the shortest legs of the whole group, so I'll take the back seat. Probably take my seat cushion with me. But now I'm like, oh, I want to work on this on the way down. So I don't know if I'll put the rest of this one in a stitch with me or not, because I don't think I can do a stitch with me while I'm driving. Well, I'm in a car. But I am going to take my recording equipment, not all of it, but I am going to take some recording equipment with me so that I can keep going. The part that I don't think I can do is all of the lighting and things from this and my backdrop behind me, but I might be able to record some how-to videos because they just need this overhead one, and I can. I have taken this one to lots of different places. I think I have some videos that I recorded. My husband had a work trip in Colorado. I think it was Colorado Springs, so I took it. The canvas lamp comes apart, and I've had it in Jamaica and done some recording, and I think I've had it in Mexico and done some recording there. Okay, that sounded like something hit the floor. Something did hit the floor. It was a needle. Okay. All right, we do not need much more. Well, yes, we do, because we got to go up that whole other side. How are we doing on time here? When I originally had the idea to do these stitch with me's, my original thought, I was like, there's no way I can do something for that long. I was like, I can stitch, but I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Sometimes it feels silly. I'm going to move to doing them live, but it might be after school starts, because especially with the way things are in the summer, that's something where I would need to not be interrupted, and I can be interrupted on this and just edit the video later. So that's my plan, is that by fall I can do that, and then my hope is that I can move from live to being able to have other people talking and commenting at the same time. So we'll get there. It just might take us a little bit. So and yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. One of my favorite things, a number of years ago, I designed digital scrapbooking supplies. Let's see, Jake was a baby, and he's 16. He's 16 now, so I started doing it before he was born. So yeah, a number of years ago. And there was a podcast at the time that had 3 of the big names in digital scrapbooking at the time. Um, an organizer and, I mean, I don't know, she's a people person, and a designer, and just they were fun people. I loved listening to them do the show each time, and I looked forward to it every week. Now, I never got to say anything. The only people that were talking were the three of them, plus whatever guest they had on. And I was their guest a couple of times. But uh, the feel of that, of looking forward to talking to them, and they didn't talk a ton about their families. They talked about them a little bit, but and maybe we knew a little because it was scrapbooking after all, so it was their family pictures. But um, I that's the feel I want to kind of capture in this is um, feeling like you're sitting down and stitching with a friend. I did some stitching with some of my friends this week. Um, we have one event we call Stitching with Friends. We all took a class together to learn wool applique and embroidery, and then the class ended and we kind of kept going a little bit, and then COVID happened and we couldn't. And then after COVID, we started getting back together again. And there were as many as 5 of us who would come to it from the class, but then one of the ladies ended up, she got cancer and she ended up dying from that. And one of the other ladies took a job that prohibited her from coming with us. So we're down to just the 3 of us, but we do get together. And that's our only connection we had, is that we were in that class together. And they, they're better at it than me. They're better at doing the friends things together. I stitch with them and I love them dearly, but like they go to water aerobics together each morning and encourage one another, and I'm like, I'm gotta work. So yeah, my work schedule makes some of that difficult. Speaking of work schedule, so the other thing that's happened since the last time I was doing this, my sweet little, I have 16 grandkids, and one of the younger ones, she's not the youngest, she's the 3rd youngest, but she's 15 months old. She's just hit a point where she knows that her mom gets the phone and does something, so there must be a reason that the phone is important. Let's untwist our thing. And so she wants the phone, and somehow one of the trips they went on, they let her listen to some music on the phone, and that kind of calmed her down. They were on a long road trip, and she fell asleep to the music on the phone. So that's the other thing, is she wants the phone. So, like, I don't know, it's probably only been about 10 days ago. She was giving them a hard time and wanted that, and they couldn't do that at the time. And so she called me and she said she wants the phone. Entertain her for a minute while we finish what we're doing, because we can't do that right now. And I went, okay, because you know what? Yeah, I came out in the wrong spot. Let's try that again. 15-month-olds don't carry on a lot of conversations, and they don't answer questions. And I was like, okay. So I quickly went into my office, which has the quote library in it. It has the shelves with the books. And I grabbed whatever board books I could find, and it turns out that most of the board books that I have a little puppet in the front of I guess the puppet's in the back, but it goes through all the pages. Each page has a hole. And they're nursery rhymes. So like the words on 5 little monkeys sitting on or eensy weensy spider. It's like the eensy weensy spider. And then the next page is climbed up the water spout. Down came the rain. Next page. And washed the spider out. You're flipping through pages. It's not like there's that much there. But I do get to wiggle the little puppet as we go through. And she loves cats. So anytime there's a picture of a cat on a page, I point it out. And I don't know, the puppet gives her a kiss at the end of it. So I did it the first day, and I think I had her for 45 minutes the first day, and she was just enthralled with it. We might have read each story 2 or 3 times, I don't remember. And now she calls me at least once a day for Grandma to read stories to her. She says hi. She gets so excited when she sees me on the phone. Anyway, they're coming to visit, and it'll be interesting to see what her reaction is if I'm in person, or if she's like, all right, read books all day long, every day. But I am a little bit tempted. I'm a little concerned because I won't have internet all the time at the soccer event. I don't know how well I'll be able to read. Right now, it just so happens that's not true. I haven't been completely available. There was one time when she called that I couldn't take the call at the time. I think I was in an appointment. But yeah, most of the time, whenever she calls, I stop what I'm doing and I read her stories for 20 minutes. And then I'm still a little surprised that a little one that young is that interested in stories, or is interested in stories enough to stay for 20 minutes. But and she probably would stay longer. And I thought about it and I went, you know what though? I think when her mom was little, that's a normal thing for little kids to like things that repeat. So I went, oh, maybe that's normal, and maybe she's just excited about it, and I don't need to stress about the fact that it feels like I'm doing the same thing over and over, and she's going to get bored. So I was tempted to actually pretend like she's like I'm on the phone with her and just record me doing it, so that if we get in a pinch, her mom can just play the video. I just don't know how long it'll take to transfer. Okay, I don't want it to cause trouble that her mom has to change the video every 15 minutes or every 10 minutes, because that doesn't work while you drive. Maybe a sibling that's sitting next to her in the car could. All right, I would love to keep going on this one. We're past a half an hour, but I have not very long before we are going to be getting in the car and heading to that lacrosse game. So there is the ribbing and the outside edging done on our present. Remember, we'll have to do the white up these two sides, and then we'll be able to embellish it. And this one has plaid sleeves on it, so it'll be fun to add those colors in. It's got some lime and green, and I think it's got yellow in it, or gold. Yeah, it'll be fun to put that together. So we will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. Bye-bye.